Some people might never figure out what their purpose in life is, and have spent all of their time trying to, which probably sucks, but I wouldn't know. See, I had it all figured out in elementary school. My purpose for being alive, my ultimate goal, my destiny, the smartest, most perfect kid ever. Now I know, it doesn't seem like the worst thing in the world, but this label followed me throughout elementary, middle, and now high school, along with the expectation that I will always go above and beyond. And maybe it's just me, but there's something about having everyone around you tell you to be perfect that makes you want to be perfect. It sets up failure to seem like the worst possible option. And sometimes, in order to not fail, you don't try. In a global epidemic that sweeps everyone from children to adults, a fixed mindset prevents us from taking the final step towards success. We've all felt this pressure of achieving perfection, a constant desire to reach the 100%, the gold star, the above average mark. But where does this need for excellence come from? And why is it so hard for us to face failure? So, let's talk about the mindsets we're put into and brought up to believe, where our fixed point of view stems from, and how we can grow past our failures, one step at a time. Our judgments of ourselves and our abilities reflect the mindsets we've developed throughout our lives. These mindsets are the beliefs and perceptions towards the extent of what we're capable of. Our intelligence and personality are most heavily assessed by these judgments, either seen as static, unchanging characteristics, or traits that can be changed and improved over time. Growing up, I was always told that I was at the top of the class and praised for going above and beyond what was expected. As a result, I was placed into my school's gifted and talented program. GT was intended to weed out the more advanced students, presumably so that they would be in an environment where they could reach their full potential. Instead, gifted and talented was more of a safety net. If we ever made a mistake, we could fall back on the reassurance that we were smart. Unfortunately, outside of elementary school, this philosophy doesn't hold up. In the article Mindsets and Student Agency, Eduardo Briceño writes, studies show that when we praise kids for being smart when they perform well, we inadvertently put them in a fixed mindset. They start focusing on trying to look smart, avoid challenge, see effort as a sign of weakness, and fall apart when things get hard. The development of a fixed mindset is usually completely unintentional. We try to motivate and encourage the people around us, and don't always realize whether we're praising their effort or their success. Saying things like, "You learned that so quickly," or "That's so easy for you," send positive messages in the moment, but evolve into harsher self-judgments later on. Being commended on learning something quickly makes us think that taking longer to learn something in the future means that we aren't as smart. Praise for not having to try as hard at one thing or having something come more easily to us than to someone else leads to the idea that effort equals a lack of intelligence. Carol Dweck, one of the world's leading researchers in the psychology of mindsets, determines through many studies ranging from elementary to middle school students that your mindset predicts your achievements. In Dweck's book, Mindset, The New Psychology of Success, she writes, believing that your qualities are carved in stone, the fixed mindset, creates an urgency to prove yourself over and over. This is a destructive viewpoint because it leads someone to think that the opposite of success is failure. In reality, failure is part of the process leading up to success, learning what does and doesn't work, and pushing forward to an ultimate goal. People with a growth mindset realize this and can determine how to improve their work rather than giving up. The mindsets we put ourselves into don't only influence who we are on a daily basis, but who we'll become in the long term. And ultimately, we're the only ones that can decide if it's going to be a positive or negative impact. One of my biggest obstacles in life, and something that haunts me to this day, is dancing. And I think it really started in 5th grade when my school hosted a ballroom dancing competition, and I wasn't worthy of even the waltz. In 7th and 8th grade, I auditioned for the school musicals. Both times, I ended up with very minor roles, which was probably for the best, seeing as I dropped out of each one. But it wasn't laziness or a scheduling conflict that held me back. My fear of dancing, or more so my fear of messing up, prevented me from following through. It wasn't until this year that I gained enough confidence to try auditioning again, forcing myself to push through the immense anxiety I felt at the time. I survived having to start over my audition song, spitting a mouthful of water on the stage manager, and wrapping it up by hitting all the wrong notes. Even just a year ago, my overwhelming fear of embarrassing myself would have made it impossible for me to take chances like this. It took a long time for me to realize that progress only comes from trial and error and the power to push through. But growth mindsets aren't only about leaving your comfort zone, so much as creating a new one. Merriam-Webster defines comfort zone as the level at which one can function with ease and familiarity, while discomfort is defined as mental or physical uneasiness. So how do we find a balance between the two? Surprisingly, the separation between comfort and challenge isn't as big as you might think. Daily activities continually shift our comfort zones as we're thrown into new situations and experiences. So it seems easy, and it is, but where do we start on our path towards progress? In 25 Ways to Develop a Growth Mindset, Saga Briggs explains the best ways to establish attitudes based around improvement and personal growth. But of these 25, what can we do right now? First, cultivate a sense of purpose. In order for us to work hard, we have to work towards something. By understanding the purpose behind what we're doing, the motivation to succeed increases with our effort. Second, place effort before talent. In Carol Dweck's Even Geniuses Work Hard, she describes the processes teachers can go through in order to create a sense of improvement in their students. She does this by explaining, meaningful learning tasks give students a clear sense of progress, leading to mastery. That is, teachers can point out that the students' efforts were what led to the progress and improvement over time. In order for us to place effort before speed or talent, we have to understand and accept the different learning styles of the people around us. By doing this, praising the process leading up to success becomes communicable and understandable. And third, use the word yet. Instead of saying I can't, say I can't yet, to open up these possibilities for progress and improvement. It really is that easy. 3 simple attitude changes in your everyday life are enough to move on from believing that your abilities are permanent and to begin the cultivation of a growth mindset. I still don't know very much about dancing, and it's definitely something that I struggle with learning. Luckily, I've realized that most of the time, struggling is necessary to get better at what you're doing. I'm trying to not hold myself back and to understand that in order for me to progress, I have to start somewhere first. We all know our limits, but we also know exactly how we can push past them, how we can continue to improve no matter what happens. There's always going to be times where we're discouraged and feel like our efforts are taking us nowhere. But by understanding that these challenges are what lead up to our ultimate goal, we can develop our own mindset. We just have to start somewhere. Thank you.